afternoon. My name is Ariel Lawson. I'm a sophomore at San State University. My major is exercise science, and my topic is depression in athletes due to racism. Okay, depression is defined as a state of being depressed or sad. Some common symptoms you can face are feeling irritable, loss of pleasure in life, or just sad overall. And all athletes don't find themselves, as feel like they can be advocates to voice their opinions on depression. Sports is defined as an activity involved in physical exertion and skills in an individual, and some common sports are basketball, soccer, football, and cheerleading. And lastly, racism is defined as a prejudice or discrimination against a certain race. And so a lot of these athletes are being, prejudiced against other people, or their fans are being prejudiced against them because of their race, or just, how far as they were being athletes. So as the statistics have shown, last year in 2016, it was showing that racism was at 31%. Now this year in 2017, we are up to 41%. So that's pretty big. This is just an article on an African-American woman who is a social worker, and she was just pretty much saying about how she's had to deal with depression, and it takes a toll on your mind, your body, and just you as a whole person. And she just feels like we're not speaking as a Black community on depression and just how racism is affecting us, and that's why we are going into depression. Okay, this is a video on doing the rock draws talking about depression. So let's go from here.
When I was 23, I was cut from the CFL after I was not drafted in the NFL. I had to move back in with my parents in this small apartment in Tampa. And again, dreams dashed. You work so hard, and then somebody's saying that, well, you're just not good enough, man. You gotta go home. And at 23, you think life is over. I fell into a deep depression, and I remember at that time, the only thing I wanted to do was clean the walls. I grabbed a cleaner and a rag, and for days I would clean. I cleaned everything. It was just the only thing I can control. I found that with depression, one of the most important things you can realize is that you're not alone. You're not the first to go through it. You're not gonna be the last to go through it. And oftentimes it happens, you feel like you're alone. And you feel like it's only you. And you're in your bubble. And I wish I had someone at that time who could just pull me aside and, hey, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. But I wish I knew that. Just gotta remember. Hold on to that fundamental quality of faith. Have faith. And on the other side of your pain is something good. After about a month and a half of staying in that little apartment and cleaning, I got a phone call from the head coach of the team who cut me, head coach of the Calgary Stampeders. He called me and he said, hey, I know we cut you, but I'd like you to come back. I said, okay, I appreciate that, coach. Thank you very much. Think about it. He said, okay, great. I hung up the phone, and my dad said, you're gonna do it, right? I said, no, I don't think so. I think I'm done with that. He goes, what? I said, my gut tells me I'm done. He said, what are you gonna do? I took a deep breath. I said, I'd like to get into the business. He said, what business? I said, the wrestling business. He said, you are throwing it all away. It is the worst mistake you will ever make. You said you're ruining your career. So maybe I'll be no good. But I feel like in my heart I have to do this. And I either need you to train me or need you to not train me. My dad rose to the occasion. So no training. And it wound up being one of the greatest chapters in my life.
Okay, so I uploaded that video because as athletes, I don't feel like they're advocating for depression, and that was a really great video, you know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, which is pretty much a very popular person in the world right now, you know, with doing wrestling and movies, and just being a person out there in the world that speaks on topics. So I felt like that was a great video for me to put in this PowerPoint. And there's a lot of other athletes in the world that just aren't advocating for it, but I did find a website that pretty much had a lot of our athletes that are in the Olympics and doing football, and they're just advocating for sports. And this is my works cited page, and that concludes my PowerPoint.